YouTube and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are talking about a thing, una cosa che ci piace, something we like, food, Italian food. Specifically, my favorites. I have talked about Italian food so many times on my channel. I've talked about Italian American food that you can't really find here. I've talked about Italian snacks. I've even touched on some of the Italian foods that don't really drive me crazy yet. But I've never told you guys the ones that I really like, and if you get a chance to come to Italy, you should see if you can have a chance to try some of these dishes because they're really good. I have a super strange taste when it comes to food. I like what I like and I don't like what I don't like, and the things that I like are kind of limited, and people can have their opinions on that, but that's just me. Another reason why it could be interesting is because in America, given that we have such a strong Italian American culture and we have such a large plethora of Italian American food and like remixed dishes, some of these foods you might not have ever even heard of in America, because let's just be honest, most of them I hadn't heard of back when I was living in America. So with no further ado, let's get into my favorite Italian foods. Now, this list is really in no particular order. I just picked a few of my favorites and they're all at the same level. They're all number one. I can't choose and tell you that I like this more than that. It depends what mood I'm in, but these are all. My first favorite Italian food is panzerotto. I was blessed enough, I am blessed enough to have a very good, one of my best friends from university is from Bari, she's Barese. And so 2 years ago, she took me to Bari. We also went to Alberobello and we went to Polignano al Mare. And at Polignano al Mare, I had my first Pugliese panzerotto. Strangely enough, on the American Wikipedia page, they say panzerotti are from Puglia, whereas on the Italian one, they say they're from Puglia, Lazio, Campania, Calabria, Basilicata, and Molise. And of course, the Italian one is correct because I've heard like people from Naples say that the panzerotto is actually from there, but you know, I'm not trying to get into any fights. I'm not involved in that. But I've only had panzerotti in Puglia and here in Milan. So those are the only two panzerotti that I know. Panzerotto is similar to what we call calzone in America. I don't know if there's an Italian equivalent to calzone. I'm sure there is, but I've never seen it, heard of it, or eaten it. And the American calzone, I don't really like. So panzerotto is kind of like that in the way it looks and the way it's shaped. They're both half moons, but panzerotto is either fried or baked dough with some kind of stuffing inside, and the stuffing inside is usually the traditional one that I like. So panzerotto tradizionale would be melted mozzarella and tomato sauce with maybe some chunks of tomatoes in there, and it's so good. But you can literally put anything in panzerotto, like it says here, onions stir-fried in olive oil, baby corn, ham. Yes, I have heard of panzerotto with pancetta inside, so that's so good. But my favorite is panzerotto tradizionale. And when they're cooking the panzerotto, basically the dough rises and it makes this pocket inside. Maybe that's why they call it panza, like pancia, get it? And inside that panza, they put all the stuffing. But one pro tip that I learned from experience, but it's even written here on Wikipedia, I don't know why nobody told me this before, is you want to make sure that you release some of the air from the panzerotto before you try to eat it, because there was one time where I didn't do that and I got seriously burned in the mouth. So if you want panzerotto to love you back, make sure you take out some of the air. My next favorite Italian food would have to be, drumroll please, pasta matriciana. So pasta matriciana originated in this Italian city named Amatrice, and it is usually spaghetti, I think, but it's usually spaghetti with tomato sauce and guanciale. So guanciale is the part of the pig that's in the cheeks. It's the meat of the pig from the cheeks. This is opposed to pancetta, which is the meat of the pig from the stomach. That's what I came here in Italy and learned, you guys. I learned the different parts of the pig that you eat. And so the first time I heard about pasta matriciana was actually at my house. Enrico made this like version of pasta matriciana. It's not pasta matriciana, and he really wants me to stress that to you guys, that he just made spaghetti, pomodoro, and some pancetta that he got from the supermarket, and I really liked the way he made it, and so he's like, yeah, this is kind of based on this. And that's what opened my eyes to pasta matriciana, spaghetti matriciana. I kind of just kept going and expanding, and I've had the real pasta matriciana. It's usually a lot saltier, the real version, and a lot of dishes from Rome are very salty, like pasta matriciana alla Grecia, I think that's what it's called, which is basically this but without the pomodoro sauce. I don't want to sbagliare, but it's bound to happen, you guys. I'm not Italian, so I might mess something up. Don't be too harsh in the comments. But yeah, it's really, really good. You usually eat it with pecorino, cheese, and a little bit of basil on top. And I eat it for lunch like literally every Saturday. That broke down ghetto version that Enrico makes. And if you come to Italy, make sure you try pasta matriciana because it's one of my faves. The next fave is cotoletta alla milanese. So, cotoletta. There's actually not just cotoletta alla milanese that's pretty famous. I guess there's also cotoletta alla palermitano, but I discovered that 5 minutes ago. I've actually never heard of the one from Palermo, and I've never tried the one of Palermo, so we're just talking about the one from Milan today. And basically what it is a veal cutlet, a breaded veal cutlet. In America, we have a lot of like chicken patties, and if you think of like chicken patties that you would have in a chicken sandwich at McDonald's, that is kind of a very cheap ghetto version of a cotoletta. It's that. We used to have chicken patties all the time at like for school lunches because they're easy to make and they're cheap. But let me tell you guys, from the day that I had my first real cotoletta alla milanese, it like opened a whole new world of freaking food. It's so good. Let me get into it because I'm not even talking anymore. I'm just like fantasizing about cotoletta right now. Basically, cotoletta can be kind of expensive, you guys, but if you know the right places in Milan, you can get a good cotoletta for around like 8 euros, 9 euros. But if you go into a good restaurant, it's gonna be from like 15 euros to like 20 euros. That's the kind of gourmet level we're talking about. The English Wikipedia page describes it as a fried cutlet similar to Wiener Schnitzel but cooked bone-in, don't know what that means. It is fried in clarified butter only and traditionally uses exclusively milk-fed veal. There are different types of cotoletta alla milanese. In fact, they talk about it right here. Cotoletta a orecchio di elefante, elephant ear cutlet, is another type of Milanese launched in recent years by trendy Milanese restaurants. These cotolette are like huge. They're like the size of my head. And as Wikipedia rightfully says, they are larger but thinner. You guys, maybe I lied. Maybe cotoletta is actually my favorite food. I can't decide. Cotoletta, panzerotto, they're all so good. But if you get a chance to try cotoletta alla milanese, especially in Milan, you should do it because it's so good. Another favorite of mine would have to be Osso Bucco. Osso Bucco is another plate, another dish that's really typical of Milan, and basically it is a specialty of Lombard cuisine of cross-cut veal shanks, I don't know what that is, braised with vegetables. So it's just another type of beef, and it says here that you have two types. One is the modern version that has tomatoes, and the original version does not have tomatoes. So the older version, which is Osso Bucco in bianco, is flavored with cinnamon, bay leaf, and gramatola. The modern version, which is the one I've usually had, which is so good, has tomatoes, carrots, celery, and onions. Gramatola is optional. And while veal is the traditional meat used for Osso Bucco, dishes with other meats such as pork have been called Osso Bucco, but they're not. Osso Bucco is usually served with risotto alla milanese, which didn't make my list. I don't know why, but it should have because I love risotto alla milanese, which is strange because I don't really love risotto in general. Growing up with like, I don't know what you would classify it as, but rice that you eat in like Asia and Africa and America, rice that's not wet, it was really hard for me to get used to the idea of rice being wet and hard instead of dry and soft. So I'm not a huge fan of risotto, but something about risotto alla Milanese, I don't know if it's the color, I don't know if it's the saffron. Is that how you say zafferano in English? I don't even know, because I've never come in any type of contact with zafferano in America, but it's so good. So if you get a chance to try Osso Bucco, you'll probably get some risotto alla Milanese on the side, and you are in for a treat. So good. So my final on my list of favorite Italian foods would have to be spaghetti al limone. I just discovered this one the other day and I'm pretty freaking proud. So basically, my new job has me going to Rome a lot. Like, every time I'm in Rome, I basically always eat at this one restaurant for lunch. I don't know how it always ends up happening that way, but it does. And since I'm a strange eater, I don't like to go with things that I don't know because there is an 80% chance that I won't like it, I picked spaghetti al limone because it was the only thing on the menu that I kind of knew. I know what spaghetti is, I know what limone is, so let's try. And luckily for me, it was amazing. And now every time I go and I have lunch in Rome and I am at this restaurant, I always have spaghetti al limone. It's so easy to make too, so now I'm gonna tell Enrico to start making it as well. But it's spaghetti with a sauce that is made of butter and lemon juice principally. There's also scorza di limone, but I don't know what that is. And olive oil, salt, and thyme. What I like about my favorite Italian foods, that actually they're also simple to make. You could easily make these things in a fast amount of time and enjoy them. And you don't need something that's excessive and extravagant and takes forever to cook to have something amazing. So you guys, these are my favorite Italian dishes. What do you guys think? What region are you from and what dishes are famous from your region? Maybe I'll get a chance to try them out the next time I'm around, the next time I'm in town. And also feel free to leave me in the comments down below your favorite Italian dishes and maybe I'll get a chance to try them and maybe I like them. Keeping in mind that I only eat chicken, beef, some pork, I don't like fish, I don't like raw meat, and I don't like raw eggs. So, with that in mind, suggest me. Oh, that's a lie. I also eat, no, arrosticini are beef, So you guys, I hope that you guys like this video, found it interesting, helpful, I don't really know. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in my next one. Mwah.